One of the questions I often ask my history students is to explain what distinguishes humans from animals. They often list things such as opposable thumbs, the ability to make and use tools, or the capacity for higher reasoning. I find each year that many of them have been misinformed about the capabilities of primates, such as apes and chimpanzees. So before I explain exactly what it is that differentiates humans from animals, in order to understand early human history, let's take a quick look at a comparison of humans and chimpanzees. Chimpanzees are often incorrectly called monkeys, but they are actually in the great ape family, just like us. The other great apes are orangutans and gorillas. There is only one species of human alive at present, as we have discussed. They are Homo sapiens sapiens. In the past, many scientists tried to argue that there were several species of humans and would often hasten to add that they themselves belonged to the superior species. However, generally speaking, all humans can produce fertile children, so that means we are all from the same species. Chimpanzees, on the other hand, are actually two species. First, there's the common chimpanzee, and then there's the bonobo. These two types of chimpanzee are completely separate species, and as we discussed before, humans and chimpanzees evolved from a common ancestor between 5 and 8 million years ago. Only fossils of this ancestor remain today. Sometimes my students will explain that one of the great differences between humans and animals is that humans socialize and form a sense of community. Yet the truth is that chimpanzees also spend a great deal of time socializing. Much of their socializing is grooming each other. Juvenile and adolescent chimpanzees will often play chase and tickle each other, as will adults with their offspring, showing affection, including hugging and kissing, which are done between chimpanzees of any age or gender. Regardless of gender, chimpanzees strengthen friendships by spending extensive time grooming each other. Humans spend a comparable amount of time socializing, albeit more through talk than grooming. Nevertheless, much of the vast amounts of inconsequential chatter we produce is simply a more sophisticated version of chimpanzee grooming. It serves little other purpose than to strengthen our relationship bonds. Humans also demonstrate stronger relationships through physical contact, a pat on the back, a hug, or a friendly shove. Primate social group size closely reflects their brain size. Chimpanzees have about 50 close friends and acquaintances, whereas humans have between 150 and 200. Still, other students argue that humans are the only animal with the ability to talk or communicate with one another. But chimpanzees have complex greetings and communications which depend on the social statuses of the communicating chimps. They communicate verbally using a variety of hoots, grunts, screams, pants, and other vocalizations. Most of their communication, however, is done through gestures and facial expressions. Many of their facial expressions, surprise, grinning, pleading, comforting, are the same as those of humans. However, humans smile by baring their teeth, which is for chimps and many other animals a sign of aggression or danger. A much greater portion of human communication is done through vocalizations. Humans uniquely have complex vocal cords, allowing us a great range of sounds, but preventing us from drinking and breathing simultaneously, like chimpanzees can. Moreover, we have more muscular tongues and lips, allowing us accurate manipulations of our voices. This is why we have pointy chins, whereas chimps have receding chins. We attach our many lip muscles to the prominent lower chin, but chimpanzees lack many of these muscles and so do not need a protruding chin. Other students will argue that only humans can walk upright, but both humans and chimpanzees are capable of walking bipedally on two legs. Chimpanzees will often do this to see further ahead, but they prefer to move on all fours. Humans walk upright since infancy and have evolved bowl-shaped pelvises to support their internal organs while doing so. Chimpanzees leaning forward during movement do not need to support their organs with their pelvis, and so they have broader hips. This makes childbirth much easier for chimpanzees than for humans, whose bowl-shaped pelvis is in opposition to a large birth canal. Human feet are straight with toes at the front to help push directly ahead when walking, whereas chimpanzee feet have opposable big toes and are more like strong hands than feet. They are used for climbing and crawling, involving sideways, diagonal, or rotating movements. It is unsurprising that students often point to the use of tools as something to differentiate humans from animals. For many years, humans were considered to be the only tool-using animal. Observation in 1960 of chimpanzees using sharpened twigs to fish for termites has since changed this belief. Both humans and chimpanzees are able to modify their environment to forage tools to help with daily challenges. Chimpanzees will make spears, use stones as hammers and anvils, and mash leaves into a pulp to use as a makeshift sponge. It is thought that as a result of walking upright, our front limbs were much freer to use tools, and we have refined tool use to an art. We live constantly surrounded by the products of this ability, and much of what people consider makes us successful is rooted in our tool making. To further complicate what you thought you knew about animals, have you heard of a gorilla named Koko? Koko was a western lowland gorilla who was born in 1971 and passed away recently. She was able to understand more than 1,000 signs based on American Sign Language and able to understand about 2,000 words of spoken English. She lived most of her life in California and was born in the San Francisco Zoo. She was one of the few non-humans known to keep pets. For Christmas in 1983, Koko asked for a cat, and when she was given a lifelike stuffed animal, she was less than satisfied. She did not play with it and continued to sign sad. So on her birthday in July 1984, she was able to choose a kitten from a litter. Koko selected a gray male minx from a litter of abandoned kittens, and because he looked small and like a ball to her, she named him All Ball. Dr. Penny Patterson, who had custody of Koko and organized the Gorilla Foundation, wrote that Koko cared for the kitten as if it were a baby. Gorilla researchers said that she tried to nurse All Ball and was very gentle and loving. They believed the kitten and her skills gained through playing with dolls would be a tool to help Koko learn to nurture an offspring. In December of that same year, All Ball escaped from Koko's cage and was hit and killed by a car. Later, Patterson said that when she signed to Koko that All Ball was gone, Koko signed back bad, sad, and frown, cry. Patterson also reported later hearing Koko making a sound similar to human weeping. In 1985, Koko was allowed to pick out 2 new kittens from a litter to be her companions. The animals she chose, later named Lipstick and Smokey, were also minxes, just like All Ball. If you find Koko's story interesting, I recommend checking out the many videos about her on YouTube, particularly the ones with actor Robin Williams, or go to the Gorilla Foundation at koko.org. We have discussed the fact that most people are misinformed about what makes humans different than animals. Primates like apes and chimpanzees are able to socialize just like us, communicate verbally and non-verbally, use tools, walk on 2 legs, and even express grief and happiness. So what is it then that differentiates humans from animals? Just before humans began moving out of Africa 60,000 years ago, they experienced something called a human revolution. This revolution was when culture became far more important in shaping human behavior than biology. The definition of culture is simply learned or invented ways of living, and cultures are composed of our belief systems, our political and power structures, our myths and our heroes, rituals and routines, organizational structures, and group practices. The day that culture began to influence mankind to behave differently than they were biologically hardwired to do is the day that humankind first differentiated themselves from the animal species. What kinds of uniquely human activity show up in the early African record? In the first place, human beings began to inhabit new environments within Africa, forests and deserts where no hominids had lived before. Accompanying these movements of people were technological innovations of various kinds. Stone blades and points fastened to shafts replaced the earlier hand axes. Tools made from bones appeared, and so did grindstones. Evidence of hunting and fishing, not just the scavenging of dead animals, marks a new phase in human food collection. Settlements were planned around the seasonal movement of game and fish, and patterns of exchange over a distance of almost 200 miles indicate larger networks of human communication. The use of body ornaments, beads, and pigments such as ochre, as well as possible planned burial sites, suggests the kind of social and symbolic behavior that has characterized human activity ever since. All of this occurred before 100,000 years ago, and based on current evidence, long before such activity surfaced elsewhere in the world. The second major difference between animals and humans is humans' ability to flexibly cooperate. While many animals exhibit cooperative behaviors, humans stand out due to their exceptional flexibility and complexity in cooperation, particularly their ability to cooperate with large numbers of unrelated individuals and to adapt to diverse situations. Animals primarily cooperate with kin or for direct benefits with limited ability to scale up cooperation to larger, more diverse groups. This human flexibility is rooted in cognitive mechanisms that allow humans to understand roles in cooperative interactions and adjust strategies accordingly, often involving complex social structures and communication.